All right, everyone, this is a report from some days ago, but it's still relevant. I sort of had it in the backlog, but there was so much other stuff to talk about that I had to keep pushing it back, like for, I think, 3 days now. It turns out Huma Abedin, our famous Huma, wife of Anthony Weiner, and then I think they divorce and then they're back together or something like that. I don't even know. Because Anthony Weiner is a weirdo. Apparently, he sexted dozens and dozens of women over time, so he enjoyed that sort of thing. It wasn't just original. I guess he told Huma that it was just once, it was a moment of weakness. She's like, okay, we'll cuddle up, and who cares? And it turned out it was more than that. It became a bigger problem. I don't think she was very happy with him, judging from the look on her face. At various points, when people were taking rather candid photos of them in public together. But according to the Sturzok, according to the FBI lover texts, Huma wanted immunity and threatened to take the fifth and not testify if she wasn't given it. Essentially, that means she didn't want to self-incriminate. That's what that means. Of course, since you can't block someone for taking the fifth, it could be that the real reason you don't want to testify on an issue is you don't want to incriminate someone else, a la Hillary Clinton or, maybe Podesta or somebody higher up than her. That's always a possibility. I think the number of revelations in these FBI texts are quite interesting. It ties right into the FISA stuff, loosely speaking. It's not a complete overlap, but it's let's point out that at this point, it appears that at times they're talking about basically the Fusion GPS stuff anyway. Oh, this is our insurance against Trump, that sort of thing. It looks like the FBI had more individuals than like Comey wanted to admit that just blatantly hated Trump and wanted to do whatever they could to fuck him over. Now, the only reaction that we've seen from the legacy media or from people who, John McCain, the FBI's, the good buddies of the bureaucracy, essentially, especially within the Republican Party. The only response that they've given is, Trump hates the FBI. This is an attack upon our intelligence agencies. Well, no, it's an attack upon, supposedly a very small number of individuals who obviously were not doing their job properly. Fairly obviously so, those agents who were talking about, oh yeah, Trump is the devil, basically. No, we need to stop him. We've got an insurance policy just in case he wins. It was funny. Tale is that Hillary Clinton referred to everyone hanging if Trump won. I'm not even sure if that's true. I'm 99% sure that particular anecdote is actually hyperbole and that wasn't in any WikiLeaks email batch because nobody ever linked me the email that supposedly contained it. But it does sound like sort of that style of situation where you had a lot of people who I think too late realized that Trump actually was not truly an underdog. At first, they thought Trump had no chance of winning. I think they were taken in by their own lies. Like the DNC was coordinating with certain media groups to fuck around with the polls. That's kind of obvious that happened. They therefore did. You can think of some of the names. The CNN poll, MSNBC, the same people talking directly to the Clinton campaign and taking commands from them on their news stories and reporting. Yeah, that's really hard-hitting, great journalism. I trust the legacy media so fucking much. But remember, some random YouTuber is manipulating your mind and conducting propaganda and being misleading. But don't worry, people who coordinate with presidential campaigns, that's all right. They cooked the polls. And others that I think weren't fully in the loop because of compartmentalization. In many cases, they took them seriously. And so they decided to dick around thinking, well, Trump's never going to win. We're never going to get in trouble for this. If anything, if anyone discovers what we did, we'll get brownie points with the incoming Clinton admin. It's not going to matter. It's not like we're going to get charged for such a thing. Okay, we get a slap on the wrist. Meanwhile, she's paying us $1 million under the table for doing her work for her. Because she'll be the president of the United States. She can do whatever the hell she wants. And she and Bubba have already been in the White House, so they know the ins and outs. They know they'll know even twice as much pretty soon. They'll be able to manipulate everything. They'll have control of all these bureaus. And when they realize how loyal we were, we'll get a promotion. I think that's essentially what happened with Sturzok and all these others. Unfortunately, they were wrong. It turns out that all of their best guesses aside, Trump actually manages to win because we've got this thing called the Electoral College. And because we've got this thing called Hillary Clinton is aged, doesn't know anything about the youth vote, and her turnout suffered as a result everywhere except for in a handful of urban, very blue zones like, urban California. Well, getting a few extra million votes sounds really great until you realize that they're in a state you were already going to win by 1 million votes anyway. Then it becomes underwhelming because it literally doesn't change anything within the election other than the support that you've drummed up because of the internet era. People there can, they can try to affect people in other states. Like some random San Francisco socialist is really going to make a lot of headway if they're online chatting with a couple of rednecks in Wyoming. I'm sure that was the plan, but I don't think it really panned out for them. So Huma wanted immunity, which is very, very interesting, and she got it. She testified. She's immune on everything, so apparently she can't be thrown in jail. And people tell me, ooh, Huma will go into a prison cell and then she'll sing like a songbird. Well, they can't put her in a prison cell. They gave her immunity. The problem is, of course, the FBI apparently didn't really want testimony. They already, at that point, planned to release Clinton. They didn't plan to indict her. So they didn't really care what Huma said. They probably offered her immunity so that she wouldn't ever be able to be in the future compelled to speak on the same thing. Oh, she's got immunity. You can't make her speak. You can't. There's no double jeopardy or something. You can't haul her in over and over again and just, until she takes the fifth. She's already been granted immunity on these charges, so she doesn't have anything to worry about. Why is she going to bother to speak? She'll say, I have nothing to say to you. Fucking, I'm taking the fifth. I've got immunity. What do you want me to do, dude? So nobody's ever going to get any closure on the Clinton email stuff. I don't expect that they're going to get closure at this point on the FISA-Gate stuff, at least involving, the DNC and Clinton campaign side. They could certainly see some heads roll at the FBI for it. You could certainly see Comey maybe hauled in. They might be able to haul in, some random people from the DOJ. Maybe they get Loretta Lynch to come in and say, well, I take the fifth, and it'd be very funny. Maybe Bubba Bill comes in and talks to an FBI agent for 10 minutes before they say, oh, it's a nothing burger. Yeah, we concur with the Clintons. Now, what about Uranium-1? You've got all this Clinton slime. Entire books have been written on how slimy this one family is. And yet there are people out there who trust the same media groups that were openly in coordination with them, according to the DNC emails. They were coordinating with the Clinton camp and the DNC. They trust them when they say, don't worry, every single time somebody notices the Clintons might be involved in some negative activity, it is a phony scandal, a nothing burger, and it never happened. Oh, money went missing, it was somebody else. You're never going to recover it, who cares? FBI agent bias? It's nothing. Uranium-1, totally proper. It was already investigated. Just ignore the fact that the Obama State Department had to sign off on it directly. Doesn't matter. Clinton Foundation took Saudi money now. It's not going to control them. Trump will be controlled by a few Russians, but Hillary Clinton isn't even mildly influenced by all the Saudi and Qatari money that she's taken. And that's a totally different issue. Obviously, because she's not Hitler. So it doesn't make the same kind of difference. And if she had been elected, by the way, she would have had... They talk about Trump having bad relations with the press. Do you remember what it was like in the Clinton presidency and all the shit that Hillary Clinton dished out on anyone that dared to question their integrity at all? It was a total headhunt. It was a hatchet job, basically. People have killed themselves in mysterious circumstances. Oh, this dude shot himself 3 times in the back of the head while investigating the Clintons. So who would have thought? He must have been really depressed. Really depressed. He was so depressed he managed to kill himself while he was already dead. He kept shooting and shooting, even after his brain had stopped functioning. Oh, and then he stabbed himself, jumped off a bridge, and then he dragged his remains into the river and drowned himself. So he died like 5 times. It makes perfect sense in Clintonia land. In the Clinton land, it makes sense. So far, I don't know of anyone that Trump is rumored to have had killed. I have the people, rumor that he's brash and that he likes to grope models in an extramarital sense. So basically, he's like Bubba Bill minus a dozen scandals and half a dozen possible assassinations. That's basically, okay, that makes me sleep better at night. See, he's not one of the Clintons. The family, he rubbed elbows with them. So I'm sure that he knows how slimy they are. There's a reason why they pulled so many punches at different times. There's a reason for that, I think. I think in time, 100 years from now, maybe we'll find out exactly why. But Huma taking immunity is hilarious. Oh, I might take the fifth, and these are FBI texts between these agents talking openly about this case. Oh yeah, she was granted immunity. Yeah, she was going to take the fifth if she didn't, so it's not like we were going to get anything out of her. That, by the way, that's not mysterious at all. Wouldn't you think that if someone threatens to take the fifth, that you might not want to let the actual subject of the investigation go quite yet? You might take a step back and say, well, there's something mysterious here. Okay, you can have immunity. We're going to need some extra strong testimony here. We're going to need a little something before we, you give us a hint, and then we'll give you immunity. Oh, no, well, I can't do that. I'll take the fifth. Okay, well, give us something, to go on. Give us the first letter of the first name of someone that you have incriminating information on. Oh, H. Oh, okay, here's your immunity deal, basically. That may have happened too, but, Huma, she seems like an unfortunate individual because I think she got rope-a-doped in with people who she expected, I think, to exert control. Because of her position, her like Muslim Brotherhood ties and, some of her powerful Islamo-fascist friends maybe. Then she got in and I think she realized that the fascists she had been working with, the Islamic zealots she had been working with, 1/10 as corrupt as Clinton. And then she's like, oh, well, fucking what did I get myself into? Meanwhile, Anthony Weiner's off in Haiti. Oh, yeah, I'm going to help the orphans fund over here, Huma. I'll be back in a month. I wonder why he was actually there. Huma, she sits there and she always has that like pouty face too, which is actually hilarious at the same time that it's slightly sad. And so they got her like in the kids' bedroom just pouting and stuff. It's like Anthony Weiner can't keep his wiener where it belongs. Here's sad Huma, and it's just very funny imagery. That's about all. Peace out.